I'm Mikey Wasty. I'm co-owner of Autofarm, a Porsche specialist that was formed in '73, the same year as this 2.7 RS that we have here today. We've been pretty renowned for working on early Porsches right the way through the models, but we're kind of more especially known for doing the 2.7 RSs from that era. And throughout that time that the company's been going, we've dealt with some pretty special cars, one of which sticks vivid in my memory is the Beirut RS. And this car is, you know, it reminds me very much of that car. It's got quite a cool story about it. So we found out about the car, an email came through with a guy claiming to have the last right-hand drive RS. As ever, you normally kind of think a bit suspicious about it until you see some decent pictures. Once we started seeing some pictures, as you can see in the condition that the car's in, we knew it was going to need a bit of work, but it was definitely something to start looking at. Obviously, the significance of the car being the last right-hand drive being a low numbers car, and being at the end of the production, so it's quite a sought-after car. So we thought definitely look into it further. So once we found out about the car, obviously you can do quite a bit via email and through photographs, but there's nothing beats going to see the car in the real flesh. So Josh actually had a trip booked to go to America, so we tasked him to go over there, look at the car for us while he was over there. He had a good look around, took some pictures, did all the due diligence checks with numbers and provenance of the car. So it stacked up to be the car it said it was, which is half the battle when you're looking for a car like this.
I went to see the car thinking it had been sitting outside in Trinidad. It was going to be a ruin. And I had to mentally prepare myself to walk away, which under the circumstances was going to be quite difficult. It was, after all, a very interesting one in itself, being the very last right-hand drive, and I think about a dozen cars from the end of the whole production run. Everything had checked out in terms of numbers, and the fact that it had gone out to Trinidad and had survived life in Trinidad made it all extremely intriguing. Anyway, everything went to plan. I went to see the car. It was we jacked it up in his garage, and to my relief, underneath it was a remarkably sound car, and overall the basics, the essential components were all still there, and started putting this story together, which included the fact that he bought it off the daughter of the widow of the previous owner, who'd been shot in slightly murky circumstances, and the car had just finished up, parked outside the house under a lean-to, and there it had sat. Threading the history back, we were able to work our way through it and find out who had taken the car out there, and were able to contact him, and subsequently he visited us last year, and we were able to have an update session with him, photos alongside the car. He still had quite a lot of paperwork which he gave us copies of to help build the story of its life in Trinidad.
So since bringing the car back to the UK, after we've all been over the car and gone through the history, there's been quite a bit of interest in the car. We've dripped a few pictures out there, and Top Gear have taken it and put it into their magazine. That interest has driven, you know, lots of people who are interested in knowing more about the car, but there's also an interest in people actually wanting to be a part of the car. And that's one of the things I'm big on here. We like to build cars and we like to preserve cars. And part of the preservation is finding the right owner, so make sure that the car has someone who's got the right thought about attacking the project and, you know, doing the right thing to preserve the car for you know, 30, 40 years' time. So the next thing for the car, now we've gone through the planning stage, is to put the first spanner on the car, which is always the exciting bit, is the project actually taking motion. Once we start stripping the car, there's a process of cataloguing the car. So we've already photographed the car within an inch of its life already, and then as we strip down, we photograph every piece, part, and it all gets bagged and catalogued, so we know what bits have come off the car, what bits we have to refurbish, keep, what bits we have to source, and that will evolve as we go through the project. There's going to be lots of cool things that we'll find as we start to strip the car. So you know, it's nice to capture those moments. That's part of the reason we're doing these videos is so you can kind of see the project unfold and some of the challenges that you have along the way and making the right decisions at those points.